Ever texted a woman and watched your screen like it was about to explode? You typed the perfect message, hit send, then silence. The brutal void of being left on read. But what if I told you there are 3 texting secrets that silently trigger deep psychological responses in women, ones she can't help but react to? And no, it's not about being overly nice, overly clever, or using cheesy emojis. It's about stoicism and understanding what most men never even notice. So buckle up, because once you learn these secrets, you'll never look at texting or attraction the same way again. Please like video and subscribe my channel. Let's dive in. 1. The pause that builds power. Let's start with something most men get wrong. The instant reply. You see, here's the secret. Deliberate delay. A stoic man doesn't text back instantly, not because he's playing games, but because he's centered, grounded, and not controlled by urgency. When a woman texts, she's not just waiting on your words. She's reading into how fast you respond. That speed, it signals how much you value yourself and how much you're willing to chase. 2 phones, one buzzes, immediate reply. The other silence. Minutes pass, then a calm, confident response. Guess which one she keeps checking back for? Delaying your reply creates space. And in that space, her mind starts to wonder, where is he? What's he doing? Why isn't he glued to me like the others? That's not neglect. That's mystery. And mystery builds pull. Because when you're not overly available, you signal something powerful. You have a life, a mission, and she's not your center yet. Serious question. Do you reply faster to your boss or your crush? Exactly. Now flip that script. Be the one she feels she's to impress. You can't just delay for the sake of delay. This isn't a waiting game. It's a power play backed by purpose. Because what you text after that pause, that message can either build connection or destroy curiosity. And once curiosity dies, so does attraction. So, don't stop here, because the next move is what makes her truly hooked. 2. The message that mirrors her mind. Now let's dive into secret 2. Something most men completely overlook when texting women. Psychological mirroring. The subtle art of responding to her energy, not just her words. Let me introduce you to Matt. Matt was 32, smart, successful, and completely confused. He'd send women long, polite texts, compliments like, "You're so beautiful. I'd love to get to know you better." Sounds sweet? Sure. But the women smiled, replied once, then vanished like smoke until Matt discovered the Stoic approach. Observe, calibrate, match. He stopped chasing and started mirroring her tone, her rhythm, even her punctuation. If she was playful, he leaned in. If she was dry, he matched the energy. Cool, calm, a bit distant, people feel drawn to what's familiar. When you reflect her communication style, she doesn't just read your texts, she feels them. And when a woman feels seen, she leans in emotionally, subconsciously. Mirroring triggers the release of oxytocin, the same bonding chemical that forms trust and emotional attachment. Now, this doesn't mean you start typing OMG Mayo or use 12 fire emojis because she did. Unless you're trying to sound like her Gen Z cousin named Kyle, mirroring doesn't make you a copycat. It makes you a connection architect. You're speaking her language, not just texting her inbox. And once she feels that subtle alignment, you're no longer just a guy on her phone. You're the guy who gets her. So now she's texting more, asking questions, checking that message bubble like it holds secrets. But hold up, this isn't the final level. Because the next secret, it doesn't just create connection. It makes her feel something so powerful she won't stop thinking about you. And it's the one thing 99% of men never even think to use. 3. The power question. Let me introduce you to one of the most irresistible forces in communication. Curiosity loops. It's not what you say, it's what you make her want to say next. Instead of replying with the usual, "That's cool," you say, "Wait, why do you think that?" Instead of the basic "nice dress," you say that dress says something bold. "I'm curious." Wait, is that intentional? See the shift? You're not just making observations. You're opening portals into her mind. This is the power question. A subtle but powerful tool that takes a casual exchange and turns it intimate. Why does this work so well? Because now you're not just chatting. You're inviting her to reveal herself. And when a woman starts opening up emotionally, something powerful happens. Psychological trick. It's called sunk cost psychology. The more she shares, the more she becomes invested. She starts to care about the conversation. And when people care, they stay. Text bubbles fill the screen. At first, her replies are short, but after one power question, suddenly her messages get longer, more thoughtful. You say less, she says more. You win. Here's the secret formula. Curiosity creates attention. Attention creates connection, and connection leads to emotional attraction. But hey, don't turn into a therapist. You're not diagnosing childhood trauma in text. Just spark her curiosity and let her want to keep it going. Now here's the twist and a warning. Most guys learn tricks like these and throw them together in a chaotic mess. They delay the text, mirror her tone, then ask a deep question that feels off. And just like that, connection gone. So, how do you use all three secrets in the right way without seeming cold, fake, or manipulative? That's where the real magic happens. Because once you align timing, tone, and depth, she doesn't just text back. She gets hooked. And in the next section, we're putting it all together. Let's get one thing clear. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about being unshakable, calm, centered, in control. And whether she says it or not, women are drawn to that steady power like moths to a flame. Let's bring it all together. You delay just enough, creating space that builds anticipation. You mirror her tone, creating connection that feels natural and safe. You ask power questions, creating depth that makes her open up and keep coming back. When you align these three, timing, tone, and depth, you stop being one of many. You become the one she thinks about when her phone lights up at 2 a.m. Remember Matt? The guy who used to get ghosted after one compliment too many. He's now dating a woman who once ghosted him. Why? Because now he's the mystery she couldn't stop thinking about. He became the man she had to figure out. And no, he didn't grow a six-pack overnight, didn't buy a yacht. He just used a brain, a little self-mastery, and a phone with working Wi-Fi. That's it. Because it's not about tricks, it's about transformation. But if you think these are just texting tactics, you're missing the bigger picture. Because the way you text is just a mirror of who you are. And if you want her to fall for your words, you first need to fall in love with your own calm power. Here's the final truth. Most guys chase attention. Stoic men create attraction without trying. And if you're ready to step into that version of yourself, if this opened your eyes, even just a little, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button and join a community of men who are learning to lead with calm, power, and purpose. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway or a texting mistake you'll never make again. And if you're curious about the 5 emotional triggers that make women obsessed, that's coming in the next video. So stay tuned, stay calm, stay dangerous. Music.